Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, also known as Kara Zor-El, is a fairly new addition to the DC universe, having made her debut in 2021. She comes from a dystopian future timeline where she is the last survivor of Earth. After traveling back in time, she ends up on Prime Earth, where she interacts with the main DC characters. Her origin story and abilities are really fascinating, so let's get right into it. Origin story. Making her debut in Action Comics number 252, Kara Zor-El, cousin of Kal-El, has been a staple of DC Comics since 1959. While her more famous cousin was destined for greatness, Kara had no desire to be a hero. Kara's dream was to live a peaceful life in Argo City, but with Krypton's impending doom, her parents placed her in an emergency pod and sent her to Earth, the same planet as her infant cousin Kal-El. Kara lost everything the day Krypton was destroyed, and then she awoke on Earth with the power of a deity. Unfortunately for Kara, things take an even stranger turn when she realizes she has awoken decades after Krypton imploded, and her infant cousin is now more than a decade older than her. Kara is still struggling to adjust to her new surroundings. While Clark was able to live a normal life, she witnessed the destruction of her entire planet and must deal with that in addition to her new abilities. This is the key difference between Superman and Supergirl, leading to a slew of unique stories starring the Girl of Steel. Kara eventually takes on the superhero mantle, becoming a member of the Justice League, a Red Lantern, and a member of the Legion of Superheroes. Supergirl's strength doesn't simply come from the Earth's yellow sun, but also the strength found within. Release date speculation. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow was officially announced on January 31, 2023, but an official release date has not been confirmed. The Superman Legacy release date, on the other hand, is set for July 2025, which is one of the few bits of firm planning we do know. It seems safe to assume that there will need to be a few years between the introduction of a new Kal-El and a new Kara Zor-El. With that in mind, it feels like Supergirl's first adventure movie could arrive towards the end of a decade in 2027. Roles. Previously, Supergirl was played by Helen Slater in the 1984 movie Supergirl. Over 3 decades later, Melissa Benoist took up the mantle in the CBS series Supergirl. Benoist would become the actor most associated with the character, having played her for nearly a decade and becoming a central figure in Arrowverse alongside Stephen Amell's Green Arrow and Grant Gustin's The Flash. Most recently, The Flash and Supergirl teamed up on the big screen where Kara was played by Sasha Calle. Supergirl, alongside with most of upcoming DCU roles, hasn't been officially cast yet. The Supergirl actor in The Flash is Sasha Calle, who doesn't have many credits to her name other than being a regular cast member in the soap opera The Young and the Restless. However, she must have impressed executives at Warner Brothers, given that she seemingly has an instrumental role in the blockbuster movie. Even though The Flash was produced before Gunn was co-CEO of DC Studios, it makes sense to keep Calle as Supergirl as it'd be less alienating for audiences, and Gunn is keeping other actors from previous DC movies too. We don't know who will wear the cape next, but Calle is the last person to play the role, meaning there's a chance that she will return. We'll have to wait and see if Safran and Gunn opt to recast the role for this new take on the character. Story. While Supergirl appears to be a lighter-hearted film than Batman, The Brave and the Bold, and Swamp Thing, it could be the polar opposite. The film could be extremely dark based on James Gunn's comments about Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, when he confirmed its development. Supergirl, raised on a rock, a chip off Krypton, and who watched everyone around her die and be killed in terrible ways for the first 14 years of her life and then come to Earth, Gunn explained. Gunn added that she's not the Supergirl we're used to, so the movie could be tonally similar to Man of Steel. Gunn also made a direct reference to Tom King, DC's new Alan Moore, who created the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comic book, implying that the film will be heavily based on the story. The comic book, which was recently published in 2022, is regarded as some of the best material about the superhero. It follows Supergirl, who is contacted by an alien girl who has had her entire planet destroyed and seeks vengeance on those responsible. And, as has become customary for Gunn's films, the comic book features a cute supernatural animal, and Crypto the dog will undoubtedly appear in the film. Though Supergirl is unlikely to appear in James Gunn's Superman Legacy, there is a chance that Superman will play a role in the events of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. In the same blurb for this film, Gunn mentioned Superman saying, "We will see the difference between Superman, who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents from the time he was an infant, versus Supergirl." It is unclear whether Gunn is simply referring to how the character will differ from Superman, or whether they will share the screen in the 2027 release. Personality and relationships. Due to her traumatic background, Kara has a brooding, serious personality focused on survival at all costs. She suffers from severe culture shock adjusting to Prime Earth. Accustomed only to violence and isolation, Kara has difficulty relating to or empathizing with others. She tends to be very aloof and dismissive, avoiding close relationships. Over time, Kara's interactions with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman help her regain some of her lost humanity and idealism. She even reaches a grudging understanding with Kal-El over their shared origins and survivor's guilt. Kara also formed a close bond with Stephanie Brown, the current Batgirl, who looked after Kara after she first arrived in the 21st century. Their friendship helped ground Kara and gave her hope. Since integrating into Prime Earth, Kara has struggled to cope with suddenly being around other surviving Kryptonians like Superman and Superboy. She is unsure of her place and gravitates between wanting isolation versus connection. DC Universe role. As a displaced time traveler from an alternate future, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow provides a unique perspective into the DC Universe. Her knowledge of potential dark timelines informs the Justice League on possible threats. Kara's willingness to cross moral lines with the other heroes won't make her an unpredictable ally. She acts as a foil to Superman's idealism in particular. Her tragic story gives dimension to the Superman mythos. Due to her PTSD and trust issues, Kara often handles missions alone or with other outcast heroes like Batman. She operates on the fringes of the superhero community. Her background also allows creative storylines to explore the multiverse implications of DC's different timelines and worlds. Kara's journey to find her place again provides great character development potential. Overall, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is a compelling and complex addition to DC Comics. She brings a unique perspective and skill set to the shared superhero universe. There is still much to be explored about her motivations and potential future growth as she reconnects with her humanity. So, what can we expect for Supergirl's future? Hopefully, with this new reboot, we'll see the Woman of Tomorrow for many tomorrows to come. While Sasha Calye is playing Supergirl in the upcoming Flash movie, it's unknown if Calye will be portraying Supergirl in Woman of Tomorrow. The co-CEOs of the DCU, James Gunn and Peter Safran, have declined to comment about the casting for Kara Zor-El. However, considering that Woman of Tomorrow is going to be one of the first major films in the new Gods and Monsters chapter of the DCU, it's likely that the role will go to someone as high profile as Calye. It also is possible that Supergirl could be brought to life by Melissa Benoist, who previously played the character as part of the CW's Arrowverse franchise. And considering that Superman himself is getting a big ol' reboot in the form of Superman Legacy, it's likely that the two heroes will share the screen in a future movie or TV show. Now they just have to find a replacement for Henry Cavill. But that day is quite a few tomorrows away. Before Gunn and Safran can dive into Supergirl, Gunn still has to promote Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is being hailed as the biggest and best Guardians of the Galaxy story so far. As it stands, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow doesn't have an official release date, but we will all be counting down the tomorrows until it does. Let us know in the comments what other aspects of Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow you find most interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with all my comic book lore videos. Thanks for watching!